Asterisk, the snow fell softly that December evening, each flake catching the amber glow of the streetlights like tiny dancers in the winter air. Robert Henderson pulled his coat tighter as he walked toward his car, his breath forming small clouds in the crisp night. At 62, he had grown accustomed to working late, but tonight felt different somehow. The city seemed quieter, more peaceful under its blanket of snow. Asterisk, as CEO of Henderson Industries, Robert was used to a world of boardrooms and bottom lines, of quarterly reports and strategic meetings. But as he passed the old bus stop near his office building, something made him pause. There, curled up on the cold wooden bench, was a small figure wrapped in what looked like a thin jacket, far too large for her frame. Asterisk, it was a little girl, perhaps 8 or 9 years old, with auburn hair that caught the light from the street lamp above. She was sleeping, her small hands tucked under her chin, shivering slightly despite being bundled in layers of worn clothing. Robert's heart clenched at the sight. In all his years of walking this route, he had never seen anything quite like this. Asterisk, he looked around, expecting to see a parent or guardian nearby. But the street was empty except for the occasional car passing by. The bus stop was deserted, and the last bus had likely come and gone hours ago. Robert stood there for a long moment, snow gathering on his shoulders, unsure of what to do. Asterisk, his first instinct was to call the authorities, but something held him back. Maybe it was the way the child slept so peacefully despite the cold. Or maybe it was a memory from his own childhood when his grandmother used to say that sometimes the best thing you can do is simply offer a helping hand without asking too many questions. Asterisk, little one, he said softly, approaching the bench with careful steps. Are you all right? Asterisk, the girl stirred, opening eyes that were the color of warm honey. She looked up at him with a mixture of wariness and hope that nearly broke his heart. She couldn't have been more than 9, with freckles scattered across her nose and cheeks, pink from the cold. Asterisk, I'm sorry, mister, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't mean to bother anyone. I was just waiting for the bus. Asterisk, Robert knelt down beside the bench, his expensive wool coat touching the snowy ground. What's your name, sweetheart? Asterisk, Emma, she replied, sitting up a little straighter. Emma. May Thompson. Asterisk, that's a beautiful name, Robert said gently. I'm Robert, Mr. Henderson, and I don't think there are any more buses coming tonight. Emma May. Asterisk, the little girl's face fell, and she looked down at her hands. Why, I was supposed to meet my aunt at the downtown station. She was going to take me to live with her, but I got confused with all the bus routes, and I think I missed the right one. Asterisk, Robert felt his chest tighten. Where are your parents, Emma May? Asterisk, Mama went to heaven last month, she said matter-of-factly, though her voice wavered slightly. And I don't know where my daddy is. The lady at the children's home said my Aunt Sarah wanted me to come live with her in Portland, but I had to take the bus by myself. I've never been on a bus alone before. Asterisk, the words hit Robert like a physical blow. Here was this tiny girl, completely alone in the world, trying to navigate a journey that would be challenging for most adults. He thought of his own daughter, Catherine, safe and warm in her apartment across town, and felt a surge of protective instinct he hadn't experienced in years. Asterisk, Emma May, he said, his voice warm and steady. Would you like to come with me? Think we can figure out how to get you to your aunt. But first, let's get you somewhere warm. You must be hungry too. Asterisk, the little girl studied his face for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether to trust him. Finally, she nodded. Are you sure it's okay, Mr. Henderson? I don't want to be any trouble. Asterisk, no trouble at all, Robert said, standing and extending his hand. Come with me. Asterisk, as they walked to his car, Emma May's small hand in his, Robert felt something shift inside him. It had been so long since he'd felt this sense of purpose, this immediate need to care for someone else. His own children were grown, his ex-wife had remarried years ago, and most of his relationships had become transactional, focused on business and profit margins. Asterisk, but this little girl, with her courage and politeness despite her circumstances, reminded him of something he'd almost forgotten. She reminded him of the importance of simple human kindness, of the way his own grandmother had always said that we're all just walking each other home. Asterisk, at the nearby diner, Robert watched as Emma May devoured a bowl of chicken soup and a grilled cheese sandwich, her manners impeccable despite her obvious hunger. She told him about her mama, a nurse who had worked double shifts to make ends meet, and about her dreams of becoming a teacher someday. Mama always said that teachers are like gardeners, Emma May explained, dipping her sandwich into the soup. They help little seeds grow into something beautiful. Robert smiled, thinking of his own teachers over the years, the ones who had shaped him into the man he'd become. Your mama sounds like a very wise woman. She was, Emma May said simply. She used to say that kindness is like a boomerang. It always comes back to you, but usually when you need it most. That night, Robert made several phone calls, first to his daughter Catherine, then to his assistant, and finally to a private investigator he'd used for business matters. By morning, he had located Emma May's Aunt Sarah in Portland, who had been frantically searching for her niece when she hadn't arrived as scheduled. The reunion, which took place in Robert's office the next day, was everything he had hoped it would be. Sarah Thompson was a warm gentlewoman in her 40s who worked as a librarian and had been trying to navigate the foster care system to bring Emma May home. The moment she saw her niece, tears streamed down her face. Oh, sweetheart, she whispered, kneeling down to embrace Emma May. I was so worried when you didn't arrive on the bus. I didn't know what to think. As Robert watched the reunion, he felt a contentment he hadn't experienced in years. This was what mattered, he realized. Not the quarterly earnings or the stock prices, but these moments of human connection, these opportunities to make a real difference in someone's life. Over the following months, Robert stayed in touch with Emma May and her aunt. He helped Sarah with some of the legal expenses related to the adoption, and he made sure Emma May had everything she needed for school. But more than that, he found himself looking forward to their weekly phone calls, to hearing about Emma May's progress in her new school, her new friends, and her dreams for the future. The experience changed Robert in ways he hadn't expected. He began volunteering at a local children's center, using his business skills to help with fundraising and organization. He reconnected with his own children, realizing that success meant nothing if you didn't have people to share it with. 1. Evening, nearly a year after that snowy night at the bus stop, Robert received a package in the mail. Inside was a hand-drawn picture of a garden filled with flowers, and a note written in careful cursive. Dear Mr. Henderson, thank you for being so kind to me. Aunt Sarah says, you're like an angel, but I think you're more like a gardener. You helped me grow. I hope someday I can help other people grow too, just like you helped me. Love. Emma May. P.S. Mama was right about the boomerang. Robert smiled. Feeling tears prick at his eyes, he thought about that December evening, about the choice he'd made to stop and help a little girl who needed it most. He thought about his grandmother's words, about walking each other home, and about Emma May's mama and her wisdom about kindness. Sometimes, Robert realized, the most important business deals we make aren't in boardrooms or conference calls. Sometimes, they happen at bus stops in the snow, when we choose to extend our hand to someone who needs it. When we choose to say those 3 simple words, come with me, and sometimes, if we're very lucky, we discover that in helping others find their way home, we somehow find our own way back to what matters most. The snow continued to fall outside Robert's office window as he carefully pinned Emma May's drawing to his bulletin board, right next to his family photos and business awards. In the quiet of the evening, he smiled, knowing that some investments paid dividends far beyond anything that could ever be. Measured in dollars and cents, they pay dividends. In love, in hope, and in the simple recognition that we're all just walking each other home.